Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Whole Wellness Mamas Summit, where we are unlocking the healthiest, less stressed mom in you using strategies from various wellness experts. I'm your host, Amy Nesbitt, and I am thrilled to be discussing how magnesium can really improve your health with Natalie Jurado. She's the founder of Rooted In, a line of therapeutic magnesium infused moisturizers that actively calm and relax your mood. She's a sought-after thought leader, educator, and speaker, and has worked at the forefront of the wellness industry for over 8 years. She's considered an expert in all things magnesium, and her mission is to spread awareness of this powerful mineral to all who struggle to live their most vibrant lives. I'm excited to learn more since this came up in conversation recently with a coworker of mine. So welcome, Natalie.
Thanks so much for having me on and allowing me to speak about my absolute favorite topic in the world, magnesium.
I love it. So some are meeting you for the first time. I would love for you to share your quick story of how you came to where you are now.
Absolutely. So it wasn't all that long ago that I spent most of my days constantly anxious. I was stressed out all the time. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't sleep. And I was doing everything that they tell you to do. So I was eating organic foods and a whole foods diet. I was exercising regularly, using all the healthy products. But I was still dealing with these issues. And my doctors kept encouraging me to use prescription medication, which is perfectly fine. I just was really concerned about the side effects. So I started this journey to kind of heal myself. And I spent thousands of dollars and years of my life trying to find a solution to that anxiety and that stress and that insomnia that was stopping me from living the life that I absolutely craved. So I started using magnesium on my skin daily, and my entire life changed. I felt calmer. I was more centered. I had all this energy. I slept completely fine throughout the entire night, and I felt years younger. So I reclaimed my life, and now I want everybody else to feel the same freedom and vitality that I do. So I've been on this like wild mission to share this miracle mineral with everybody out there so that they can live their most vibrant, healthy, and energetic lives.
So until recently, like I mentioned earlier, I know I was one of those totally clueless people about magnesium. So can you tell us about why it's so important for our bodies, how we normally might get it, and why we might be falling short? I know that's like three huge questions in one, so we can break it down. Can you
Sure.
go into that?
Sure. So let's dive into why magnesium is even important. So, one of the things that I always like to drive home is that if you're feeling any of these symptoms, you are not alone. So, some of the symptoms of magnesium deficiency are chronic headaches and migraines, it's insomnia, anxiety, depression, restless legs, muscle cramping, pain and aching in your joints and muscles, hormone imbalance, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. So, if any of that sounds familiar, and I think for most people it does, you're not alone. So, the National Institute of Health says that about 70% of people in the United States fail to get enough magnesium every day in their diet. That's huge. That's like 7 out of 10 people. That's huge. And oftentimes, magnesium deficiency is confused with other issues, other medical issues. So oftentimes you're like, hey, I'm having anxiety or having stress and that kind of thing. And they'll be like, oh, it could be this, this, and this. And very few times do they ever mention magnesium, even though it is really running rampant in our society. So magnesium is unbelievably important. It's present in all of our trillions of cells. Without it, we would fail to live. It's that important to you. It's involved in insulin production and insulin regulation. It's involved in energy production. It's involved in your muscle function and your nerve function. So it is absolutely vital that we get enough of this key mineral in our diet every single day. I think that was answer to number one. What was the
That was
second part?
that was big question number one. The second one was, how would we normally get it naturally? And then why
Yeah,
are we
so
falling short?
those are loaded questions right there. So how we should be getting it is through our food. Now, diet is always, always, always number one. And I always like to tell people you cannot supplement your way out of a bad diet. So if you're eating pizza and drinking beer and cookies and ice cream every single day, you can't expect to just pop a magnesium pill and just be perfectly healthy. You always have to start with number one, diet. And the foods that are rich in magnesium are your dark green leafy vegetables, your nuts and your seeds, your pumpkin seeds, your chia seeds. Those types of foods are all really rich in magnesium. The only problem is those foods, while being rich in magnesium, our farming practices have changed so much over the past 50 to 100 years that our soil is oftentimes depleted of vital minerals. And because our soil is so depleted, that also means our produce is going to be incredibly depleted. So, for example, if you were going to eat your leafy greens and be a good and have a good healthy diet, you would need 10 cups of raw spinach just to get the bare minimum amount of magnesium that you would need in your diet. Or you also 2 full cups of pumpkin seeds would give you the bare minimum that you would need. So it's a lot of food that you would have to consume to make up for that magnesium deficiency, which is why so many people who don't normally supplement, they'll still take magnesium because it's really hard to make up for that lack in our diet.
Yeah, I think it's so hard, right? People are going, but I eat healthy. I eat these healthy magnesium-rich foods. But to your point, it's the the practices that have gone into farming and our soil and all of that. Thank you
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
sharing on those three big questions to start us off.
Well, and there's another, I always like to say that magnesium is like a two-sided coin. So there's another side of magnesium deficiency that I feel like people are not talking about. So the first is, of course, you need to get enough into your diet, but we also have to be aware of the things that we're doing that deplete magnesium from our body. So things like eating sugar. For every 1 molecule of sugar that you eat, it takes 54 molecules of magnesium just to balance that out. So the more sugar you're eating, the more you're kind of depleting those magnesium levels. Same goes for alcohol and caffeine, which are other things that, we oftentimes in our society, we may indulge a little bit too much on. There's always that person that drinks 3 and 4 cups of coffee every single day. And unfortunately, caffeine also depletes your magnesium. Alcohol also depletes your magnesium. So these are all things that we need to be aware of when we're considering magnesium deficiency as well.
And I guess when you're having a cocktail or a sweet coffee, it's just doubling, tripling, right? The effects of that. Oh, that's good to know. You're absolutely right, because there are so many ways that it takes away. So can you share with us the different kinds of magnesium and why people may choose different forms?
Absolutely. So I feel like this is the biggest, and I'm so glad you asked this question because I feel like this is the biggest barrier for most people when they want to start supplementing with magnesium. So oftentimes people will be like, hey, my friend told me about magnesium. My coworker, like you said, told me about magnesium. And you get all excited and you go to the health food store and you're standing in this aisle full of magnesium supplements. And it's like, what do I do? What do I take?
So
So
many choices, yeah. And you even mentioned the topical, right? Because you said you started with the cream too. So
absolutely, absolutely. So for those of you that get overwhelmed at the health food store, I'm here to help you out. So there's over 11 different forms of magnesium, right? So that's why you're confused. That's why we all get overwhelmed because there's so many options to choose from. And everybody's like, well, which one's the best one? Which one's the best one? The number one thing that I want everybody to take away from here, the most important thing, if you can get this, then you are leaps and bounds ahead of anybody else supplementing with magnesium. The one thing you want to do is avoid magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide only absorbs at a rate of about 4%, which means that 96% of it's going to go right through your body, right out the other end, and you're not getting any benefit from it. So unfortunately, magnesium oxide is the cheapest, most readily available form of magnesium
of
out there.
course.
It's always the case, right? So as long as you avoid magnesium oxide, you are doing a million times better than most people out there. If you want to kind of go in depth into the different types of magnesiums, the ones that you'll most commonly find at health food stores are magnesium glycinate. Glycinate is particularly effective for sleep issues. So a lot of people will take that one at nighttime to help them sleep a little deeper. Another one that people see a lot of is magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate is really good at helping with digestion. It's particularly effective for people who deal with regular constipation because it keeps you really regular. And then another one that you're going to see a lot of is magnesium malate. Magnesium malate is really effective if you are deal with fatigue, often like if you get tired throughout the day, or if you're dealing with any kind of muscle issues, like you get muscle cramps or your muscles are hurt, or you feel like a lot of pain and inflammation, then magnesium malate is a good option. So those are the three that you're going to see most commonly at the health food stores. Of course, there's 11 different forms, and I have a great cheat sheet that kind of goes over those 11 forms that makes it really easy for you to kind of just print out, take it to the health food store and be like, okay, I need that form. So, and I have that available for free as well.
are they all isolated, or is there like a magnesium blend?
Yes, yes, absolutely. There's what they call magnesium complexes. And they're fabulous. They'll have 3 or 4 different forms of magnesium in it. Just be aware of that oxide. So if you see that oxide in there, you want to just toss that one to the side and grab a different one. And so those are the forms that are most typically taken as a pill or a supplement. The other option is to get magnesium through your skin. And that's what impacted my life so greatly, was getting it through my skin. So there's 2 forms to think about when you're looking at magnesium on your skin. The first is Epsom salt. So a plain old bag of Epsom salt, it's available at your pharmacies, your grocery stores. I've actually even seen bags at my Dollar Tree, my dollar store. So you can get it for less than $5 and take an Epsom salt bath. Those are so underrated, and it's so easy to do, especially for your children, even for yourself. I think as moms, we really don't give ourselves enough time to relax and decompress. And doing an Epsom salt bath gives you that kind of quiet time, hopefully, and as well as a great boost of magnesium. So Epsom salt baths are amazing. And then the last one is a magnesium chloride cream, which is what I am absolutely amazed by and what has completely changed my life. And that's magnesium. It's almost like taking that Epsom salt bath into a jar and using it as a cream. So it gives you all those wonderful benefits, but it's kind of easier to use.
I had no idea. It's like blowing my mind right now. I need to go take some more baths, even though California is kind of in a drought, but, but it's good for us. Um, is there a certain amount we should be aiming for, including in our diet or supplementing? Or I know you had mentioned earlier the 10 cups and 10 cups, 2 cups equivalents, right? But are there certain things we should be aiming for ourselves?
Yeah. Absolutely. So the RDA, the recommended daily allowance of magnesium, is 350 to 400 milligrams a day. So I say this, but I also have to say the other side. The RDA was created to keep healthy people healthy, which is great. But if you're already dealing with a deficiency, then it's very likely you're going to need more than the RDA in order to correct that deficiency. So if you're dealing with all those symptoms, you're dealing with the headaches and the leg cramps and the restless legs and the insomnia, then it's very likely that 350 to 400 milligrams might not be enough. But it's a fabulous starting point. So if you're interested in supplementing with magnesium and you're eating all the foods that you're supposed to do, you're taking Epsom salt baths 2 to 3 times a week, you're still feeling some of those symptoms, then it's a good idea to start with that 350, give that a try and see how your body responds to it. If those symptoms are starting to ease back, then you may have found a really good dose for you. But if it's not quite working as well as you had liked, then you may need to take more. Of course, I say this with the fine print of speak to your healthcare practitioner before taking any form of supplement, including magnesium. But generally, magnesium is very well tolerated by healthy adults. With one of the questions people always ask is, what happens if I take too much? Well, if you do take too much magnesium, it will have you running to the bathroom, but it's not going to do any great damage. So it can kind of disrupt your digestive system because your body has this beautiful fail-safe mechanism where it will get rid of excess magnesium rather quickly, which is not very fun or pleasant, but doesn't do any long-term harm.
So you're saying you will know if you're taking too much.
Your body will warn you.
Does that happen on the like topical, like the Epsom salts or the creams, or is that kind of more of like a supplement through your body?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a supplement because the supplements go through your digestive system. So the beautiful thing about getting magnesium through your skin is that you don't have to worry about overdosing. Your skin will literally take in what you need and you'll absorb what you need and it won't take in too much. So I always like to compare it to going to the beach. So I live in Florida, we have beaches everywhere. So the ocean is 35% magnesium chloride. So that's so often when we go to the beach, we sleep really well that night. Maybe we don't get muscle cramps. We feel so chill and calm and relaxed. And part of that is because of the magnesium chloride that we get from swimming in the ocean. But nobody ever says, get out of the ocean, you're going to overdose on magnesium. Like that's not going to happen, right? Because our skin takes in what we need.
Got it. That is perfect. And I know everyone is different. And again, we have the caveat of, like do it at your own risk, healthcare providers. But how soon on average might someone start seeing a note or noticing a difference when they start?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the studies are showing that the more deficient you are, the faster you're going to see the benefits, because it's like your body is starting to fire on all cells. So oftentimes it can take as little as 1 to 2 weeks of consistent use. But for some people, it can take as long as 12 weeks to 6 months. So if you have a huge deficiency that you're trying to get over, you'll start to feel the benefits, but it might take as much as 6 to 9 months even to really get your deficiency fixed. So most people will, however, start feeling it pretty quickly.
That's awesome. I also want to go back to the fact that you said you could get Epsom salts at the dollar store and like anywhere, right? So cost is not an issue for people to start to see
Yeah,
if this will work for you. Because I feel like
absolutely.
a lot of those that you mentioned, right? The symptoms, the sleeping issues, the um, everything. I feel like we can all resonate, which is why you're saying it's 70% of people, which is most likely us, right?
Yes, and it's funny because our demands are even higher. So because we're constantly stressed, and the more stressed you are, the faster you're going to deplete your magnesium levels. So especially women with children, women with families, women with responsibilities, women with so much, we've got so much going on. The more stressed you are, the more you're going to deplete your magnesium levels. And the beautiful thing is, once you get those magnesium levels back up, you find that you can kind of breathe a little bit easier. You find that you can tolerate more stress. So it really is, it's like the stress mineral almost.
Yeah. And I love that you said that your lotion was a huge change for you because we probably already do it in our daily lives where we moisturize our bodies, right? So if we could just make that shift and be conscious about it and see how it impacts us.
Absolutely. It's as easy as swapping out your daily moisturizer.
Yeah.
It's also so effective on children. So I have two boys myself, and I don't know about you, but boys have a lot of energy, and they sometimes are bouncing off the walls, and they're sometimes running around when you don't want them to run around. So the beautiful thing is, if it's as easy as me just putting some moisturizer on my son's back and being like, "Hey, I'm going to give you a little massage," and then they're calmer and they're not bouncing off the walls as much, and they're not so hyperactive because it's really calming. Teachers especially love it when we use magnesium on our kids before we send them to school, because their kids are able to focus a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you mentioned that because I don't know if you read my mind, but I was going to ask you, how about kids? Can we use it on kids? Because I am also a boy mom to two. So that resonated with me very, very dearly. Um, is there any particular way? I know you mentioned the moisturizers. Can they also take supplements, or do you not recommend that? Is it more the topical way to go with them?
I always prefer topical, especially for children, because one, it's really hard to get a pill into, like, I have a 12, my youngest is 12, and he still won't take a pill for anything. So yeah, I really prefer topical, even Epsom salt baths. I mean, my kids have been doing Epsom salt baths since they were like 3, 4 years old. We always threw some Epsom salt in there, because it's a great way to really raise their magnesium levels without causing digestive issues, without causing any kind of side effects or anything like that. So it's super duper safe. And it works. It's one of those things that you can see the immediate benefit with children. We always have to remember that they're growing at such a huge and rapid rate. Like, I know one summer my oldest son grew 6 inches over the summer. Like, he grew out of everything, all the clothes he owned. So, but they're growing so quickly that their magnesium demands increase. They're also playing, they're outside sweating and running around and exercising and depleting their magnesium levels that way as well. So it's really important for us to refresh those. I know personally, around the holidays with Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff, they get so much more sugar than they normally get. And I see that change in their behavior pretty quickly. So knowing that sugar depletes magnesium, we're able to kind of quickly get those levels right back up so that their behavior kind of normalizes a little bit and they start feeling like themselves again.
Vacation is also another thing for us because we're on vacation and it's, a lot of rules go out the door. So
Or, yeah.
good thing to keep in mind. When you were talking about moisturizers, I wanted to ask something specific to me, but maybe other parents have like kids with skin, like sensitive skin. Is that something that it helps with also, or is that completely different?
Yes. So magnesium helps with inflammation in general. So inflammation throughout the body. Some people can experience inflammation in their joints and have painful, aching joints. Some people experience inflammation in their skin and they wind up with inflammatory issues like eczema and that type of thing. So because magnesium really helps bring down overall inflammation in the body, we see that people who have eczema or psoriasis or conditions where the skin is inflamed, we see that start to go down as a result. So it really can be quite effective. A simple Epsom salt bath or just using some moisturizer on their skin can really make a difference.
I am going to go look into this immediately for my one of my kids. This is so helpful. Um, I like to leave my moms out there with a quick action or challenge that people can perform today to start making these changes. And they can ask more questions because I'm sure people out there have tons of questions if they're like me. Um, so, can you share your challenge for our mamas?
Absolutely. So my challenge is to go out and get yourself a bag of Epsom salt. Start doing the Epsom salt baths. Aim for 2 to 3 times a week for you and your family. So my magical Epsom salt recipe for, for the bath is this. You're going to take 2 cups of Epsom salt and you're going to take 1 cup of baking soda. So people often ask, why baking soda? And I'm talking the Arm& Hammer orange box. It's usually like 99 cents. So
Both super cheap.
yeah, super cheap. Exactly. So 2 cups Epsom salt, 1 cup of baking soda. The bicarbonate in the baking soda helps the magnesium absorb into your body faster. So it's a cofactor for the magnesium in the Epsom salt bath. So 2 cups Epsom salt, 1 cup baking soda. You're going to throw it in the bathtub and you're going to soak for 20 minutes. You want the water to be warm. You don't want the water to be hot because hot helps us detox and pull stuff out of our body by sweat, and warm will help it absorb into your body. So make sure the water is warm and not hot. And just soak for 20 minutes. Those people who are like, hey, I don't have a bathtub, I only have a shower, you're going to do that same mixture. You're going to throw it in a basin and you'll soak your feet with that. And that's easy to do while you're watching TV. If you work from home, if you're on the computer, just soak your feet in that same mixture and see how you feel. Start writing down your symptoms. See if they start going away. Start tracking the way you sleep. Start tracking the way you feel in the morning. If you feel more energized, if those leg cramps are going away, if you feel less stressed and more calm, then you know it's working.
Oh, I love that you mentioned the foot bath because you're right. A lot of people are like, I don't have the time, or I don't have a, whatever it is, drought.
Drought.
So,
Yes.
yeah. And so you can do that anywhere, really. So I appreciate that addition, and the fact that it is, like I mentioned, super cheap to start, and then you go from there, right? So can you share about what you have also? Because I know you have a line of magnesium products.
Yes, we created a line of magnesium infused creams. We have 3 products and 3 products only. One of the creams is for stress. We call it Tranquility Cream, which it's a wonderful blend of herbs like ashwagandha and rhodiola and tulsi, all mixed with a high concentration of magnesium. I use it every single morning because my mornings tend to be hectic when I have kids, and getting them out the house can be a little stressful for me. So I use it every single morning to keep me calm. Our other product is Rest Cream. It's a beautiful formula made with passion flower and chamomile and, of course, magnesium. And it's used right before bed to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and and sleep more restfully. And then our last formula is our Relief Cream, and it's a blend of magnesium with arnica and ginger and white willow bark, which is specifically made for pain and muscle cramping and tension in your joints and in your muscles. And so those are our 3 formulas, and they have been really well received. We launched about 2 years ago. We've sold out like 6 times. It's been a wild, crazy, a little bit stressful ride, but it's been really, really rewarding.
I love that. Are there specific ways in which to use it? I know there's 3 different items. If we start with the first one,
Yeah.
do you put it
So
like on anywhere specific or all over?
yeah, so for the Tranquility, I typically put it on my chest and my shoulders because that's
Mhm.
where I hold my anxiety. Sometimes I'll even rub it on my abdomen because sometimes I'll like keep my abdomen tight because I'm so stressed. So anywhere that you hold your stress, some people hold stress in their neck. It's a
Yeah,
great
that's
place to
me.
put it. Yep. A lot of people do that, and you see them cracking their neck
Yeah, it's
all
like the
day.
neck and shoulders for me. Yeah.
So that's where I like to use the Tranquility. The Rest Cream is particularly good on your legs. There's so many people that get those leg cramps and that restless leg feeling at nighttime. So I typically will use it on my legs, and I'll use it on my chest as well. And then the relief cream, you just put it where it hurts. So anywhere that you're dealing with pain, especially like my kids, they get growing pains. So I'll rub it on wherever it hurts. Or a lot of times people will get like headaches. They'll put it on their neck, their temples, that type of thing. And it's incredibly effective after a workout. So if you go to the gym and you just finished leg day, when you come home, put the cream right on your legs to help ward off that post-workout soreness.
All these different tips. I love it. I'm sure people will have many, many more questions as well. Um, and I know you have a free gift for everyone. You had mentioned the chart earlier. Can you share what it is and how people can connect with you further?
Absolutely. So I created a magnesium types cheat sheet. So what it does is it goes over the 11 different forms of magnesium, what they're good for, what are some of their drawbacks if they have that, and then who would benefit most from that form of magnesium. So it's an easy chart that you literally can just print it out and you can go on Amazon and find your magnesium, or you can go to your health food store and choose which one is best for you and your unique needs. Some people like to take magnesium for anxiety. Other people like to take it for muscle cramps and muscle aching. So this will help you kind of figure out which one you need for your specific needs. And that can be found across any of our social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, that type of thing. It's linked right in my bio at Be Rooted In across all social media channels. So it's at Be Rooted In.
Perfect. And then your website?
It's berootedin.com.
Perfect. So anything else you would like to leave our mamas with before we wrap up?
I definitely want to encourage all the moms out there to live their healthiest, best, wonderful life. And just remember that you can't supplement your way out of a bad diet. So always make sure to start with a good, healthy, balanced diet with lots of vegetables and fruits and all the good stuff you know you're supposed to have.
And if you are starting at not so healthy, no judgment. There's always room for all of us to change, right?
100%. Make
Yeah,
one choice every day. That's
that's
all.
right. Well, thank you, Natalie, so much for sharing this helpful information that a lot of people might not have known, myself included. Everyone grab that freebie so it makes your shopping way easier. Go check out Natalie's products, drop your questions, and be sure to come back for more amazing summit speakers.